Nice. Hey, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with a Legacy Death and Taxes League. This was the deck that I first got introduced. Oh, the screen? Oh, I love the screen. Yeah, the screen is really good. So we can actually look at it here. This screen as a vertical is so good, especially just for like Spotify. It's obviously pretty good for Excel as well. I'm a huge fan of it. I really like it. I did have a second one of this screen here, which was nice because then just I guess the feng shui of the room was nice because you had like the big screen and then two of the same on either side. But yeah, having this one is just so good. I really enjoy it. This is kind of my setup that I have at work as well, so it's kind of nice to come back and see the same one. Are you arriving tomorrow? Very nice. Yeah, I really liked it. I also use it, so I have at the top half is Chrome for like Twitch and a few things if I want to look at MTG Goldfish during the stream. In the middle I have my score, which is just a text file, and then below that I have Spotify with my music, which is really cool. So I'm a huge fan of it. You're excited for Cyberpunk? Yeah, so I believe today is the release. Maybe it was a few days ago. But I've seen some friends online who are really keen for Cyberpunk, and have obviously been grinding away because it does look pretty cool. I will give you that. Yeah, so obviously not Maverick. Aether Vial as a card has always really intrigued me. Green White Hate Bears is how I entered Modern, and Death and Taxes was how I came into Legacy. So it's a pretty close deck to my heart. There is, of course, a lot of content on my YouTube channel if you want to check it out, with a lot of D&T content from previous streams. It's definitely my most successful deck, and I really like the new inclusion of Skyclave Apparition, a card that we can abuse with cards like Flick Wisp, which is really cool. We can find it with Recruiter, which is really nice because before the printing, the only real way to get removal of Recruiter of the Guard was either Palace Jailer, Walking Blister, or to some effect Phyrexian Revoker. So to have Skyclave is really nice, especially because it can deal with things up to 4. So, you know, Jace, Oko, just the flexibility of it. Dealing with, you know, Dreadhorde, Oko, Uro, Jace, any random permanents like Ensnaring Bridge is really cool as well. So that should be really cool. I was always a fan of Charming Prince as a one-of. The Scry can be really good, especially in a deck where you don't want to draw your Aether Vials or Plains in the mid to late game. You do want to have some control over the top of your deck, so having the Scry ability of Charming Prince was really nice. But I think it just got missed out, which is tough. Hey Adam, welcome. So this is a pretty stock list. This is very similar to the version that I play in Paper. The only difference is that in Paper I play 2 Phyrexian Revokers and 2 Spirit of Labyrinth instead of a 3-1 split. And that's just a local meta choice, so that's something to change. And in the sideboard, I actually don't have the Feast and Famine in my Paper version. I have something else that I can't think of. I think it's a Council's Judgment, because I do have a few local players who play True Name Nemesis, which is one thing Skyclave can't run, and also a Leonin Relic Water, which Skyclave also kind of took the role of, but there's some key interactions. Leonin Relic Water is really nice because it can come down off a Vial of 2, and the other big thing is that it can't take out Omniscience, at least Apparition can't, but Leonin Relic Water can, which is pretty nice. So that's probably the biggest thing. I think if you did have some show and tell decks or omni-tell decks in your meta, then it's definitely worth having that Leonin Relic Water, because it does do a lot more than Skyclave. You know, Skyclave can still hit Sneak Attack, but a lot of these decks are going towards omni-tell these days, so having an answer for that is always really nice. I guess the other question was if I wanted to play a Canonist over one of my 3 Deafening Silence. But I think Deafening Silence just as a 1-drop is so good for this deck because it allows us to have some really nice early disruption. And as good as Canonist is against decks like Elves, I think that Elves is a pretty awful matchup, and I'm sure Julian can verify that. So I don't like boarding for it too much, and I don't think I should be trying to board for, you know, a kind of 80-20 kind of matchup. So I do like Deafening Silences, especially as a 1-drop. It's great on the draw as well because it allows you to still have a turn 1 play, whereas, you know, Thalia comes down on, you know, turn 3 for your opponent. So pretty happy with that. So sideboard is pretty much combo here, 2 Mind Breaks and a Deafening Silence for Graveyard, and some combo in Surgical, Containment Priest, and Rest in Peace. And then just for mid-game, I'm a huge fan of Gideon. I really like it. The 2/2s don't line up too well with the amount of X3s in the format right now, but I do like Gideon as just a walker that creates value straight away. It can give you some soft answers to Plague Engineer, and it can just, you know, beat down itself, which is really nice. There was a consideration for Felidar Retreat, but I think that there isn't enough synergy in this deck for Felidar Retreat. Like Maverick has things like Another Reliquary, Fetch Lands, Elvish Reclaimer sometimes, and you do rely on other cards with Felidar Retreat. It does nothing the turn it comes down usually, and you have to draw into multiple lands after it to actually really get value out of it. So I think having sort of just sorcery speed interaction with Felidar Retreat is a reason why I wouldn't run it in D&T, and would prefer something like Gideon. Sword and Feast and Famine is just some cool tech that I saw from XJ Cloud, which is really nice. It allows you to make use of your mana, which, you know, untapping ports or getting extra activations out of Stoneforge Mystic is pretty sweet. And also things like Canopy, being able to use them in your pre-main phase and then untap them to draw later is really cool. We just gotta look out that we don't draw it in our own turn because of cards like Spirit of Labyrinth. So we can at least use our Canopies in our opponent's turn when we have Spirit out. Otherwise, pretty straightforward. It's gonna be fun to play it. I do like playing with these basics. These are pretty nice, so it should be pretty fun. I'm not sure how powerful I am today, but we'll see how we go. Because this, yeah, should be pretty fun. I think the D&T is obviously in a pretty good spot. I have seen some Yorion builds, which look really cool. But I think if I'm going to come back to the deck, I'm going to start with a 60 and then work my way up. I think that's the best way to do it. Playing Legacy D&T, we're using play points. Nice, we're having a good time. There we go. Very cool. And a game straight away, which was really nice. And on the draw against Ming's Eye. Not too sure what Ming's is on. Yeah, Tom's doing really well. I saw that for anyone who's interested in MTG content, and especially very good content, you should definitely check out Everyday Eternal, because I believe Everyday Eternal have lined up Thomas Hepp for the next episode. Which I believe you can find at everydayeternal.com, or is it part of its Julian? There we go. This is a pretty interesting hand. So we have a 1-lander on the draw. We do have a Vial, but otherwise I think this hand is pretty sketch, because we have to really rely on drawing pretty much 2 lands in a row for this hand to be pretty effective. The nice thing is that we have double ups on pretty key cards. So if one Thalia gets countered, we do have a backup. Same for Skyclave. But I'm never a fan of keeping 1-landers, even with Violin on the draw. I just think that this kind of hand can be a trap, because if you don't draw into your lands, you can get really hurt. So I'm going to mulligan this. This is an interesting one, because we do have multiple ways to slow down our opponent, but it really depends on what they're on. I think if I did keep this, I would drop the second Port over the second Wasteland, just because Wasteland can be such a blowout for decks if we can land the Vial and then just play Wasteland. But that's an interesting one, because I'm not too sure what my opponent is on. I'm going to keep this, and I'm going to bottom the second Port. There's some thought to keeping the Port, because it can do a lot more than just Wasteland against the heavy basic decks right now, like Snow. And to some extent, Port can act like Wasteland and upkeep, so it is pretty interesting. I'm going to go with Port. I do like the ability to go turn 1 Vial, turn 2 Port, turn 3 Wasteland, or even have up double Port after a while. This is going to be the Mirror, okay. So this is a pretty tough hand, because Thalia is obviously one of the worst cards with Karakas being in my opponent's deck, but we both had pretty good plays. I would say that in this case the Mum's a little bit better than Vial, but we do have Revoker to turn it off, so there are ways out of this, which is nice. And it does look my opponent is going for an early Jide. which can be pretty tough. We'll tick this up. So with my opponent playing pretty aggressive, I think that I'm definitely in the non-beatdown role. And I think here it's probably better just to play the Stoneforge Mystic than port my opponent. Worst case, my opponent can just use the mana to put in something off Stoneforge. It also means if they have... I guess Skyclave is probably the biggest blowout. If they go Mum into Stoneforge into Skyclave, take out the Stoneforge Mystic. The other question is, am I happy to get Wastelanded if I play the port instead of like a Plains here? And I think I am, because I do have the Vial out, so I do have that sort of mana advantage. So if my opponent is wanting to Wasteland me, I'm probably happy for that. But I don't think we're in a position where I can hold back the Stoneforge for Vial. I just have to try to get to a position where I can maybe get faster than my opponent. And this is an interesting one, especially with the Mum already on the board. The advantage of getting Batterskull is that I can get a black creature into play, which means that Mum has to give either pro-black or pro-white. The question is, even if Jide is the better equipment here, is it doing much on this board? And I think it's going to be pretty tough to try to get in a Jide hit, so I think going for Batterskull is actually a tough choice, but I think Batterskull might do a little bit more for me. It definitely puts a target on the Stoneforge Mystic. They have a Caracas, which is tough because we have the Thalia, but we do have Wasteland. There's no point not activating the Vial here. If my opponent had something like main deck Containment Priest, then there is a reason to at least do it. And it might just be in a situation where we can... Ooh, okay. Play around with things. That's actually an interesting draw. The question is, am I going after Mother of Runes, or am I going after Umezawa's Jide? I'm definitely keeping it, and I think I'm playing out the Batterskull this turn, so I don't mind just playing Wasteland Pass and see what my opponent does. I will use this Wasteland in my end step. Now the question is, how do I want to play this Revoker? Because I can either try to go after the Jide here, or go after the Mum. I'm a little bit more afraid of the Jide than the Mum. But the advantage of naming Mum here with the Revoker is drawing into removal like Skyclave Apparition or Swords to Plowshares. Play a Wasteland. That's fine. They're going to equip like this. That's interesting. Yeah, I think my plan is to try to see how they use the mum first. So... I'm just trying to think if I have the option to put in Batterskull before I declare blocks, or do I have to put the Batterskull in now? During the declare blocks phase, is it literally just declare blocks, or do I have an option to put in the Batterskull and also block with it? Which definitely does matter, because if I tap for the Batterskull here, my opponent definitely activates Mum on Stoneforge. So I kind of feel like we want to go for Revoker first and then put in Batterskull. Opponent having a pretty good think. Most lists are only playing the one Revoker, so that's definitely something to think about. Hey, thanks Julian, all the best. Hope the Safari sales are going well. Looks like they're going to go for it. Interesting. So they thought I might put in Thalia, and so they're using swords here before they can't cast it, so... Put in Batterskull. They've already used the swords, which is great, because it's on a pretty useless card. The Stoneforge has already done its job. Interesting. So we're going to be able to put in the Revoker. And now I think it is just Mum that we name, because there's so many good top decks to get out of this situation. If my opponent attacks, I'm pretty happy to block with the Revoker as well and just trade these. But we'll see how they go. They are going to attack. So if I block with the 4/4, they could kill it, and then we keep the Revoker. If I block with a 4/4, they could kill the Revoker, but then can't kill the Germ. So I think attacking with the Batterskull is fine, because we also have Flick Wisp as a draw to get it back online. This also makes them use the counters a little bit more. It also leaves them without a second creature to attack with, which is nice. I am going to take this up to 3, because if I draw into a 3-drop and then have access to Port, I'll be pretty happy. They're going to do this now, which is interesting, playing around Flicker Wisp, which I think is fine. Another Stoneforge. That's actually pretty nice. I'm going to attack because I don't think my opponent will block and give protection when I have access to other cards. Like maybe like a second main phase Skyclave Apparition. So it's kind of a free attack, which is nice. And then I think that Stoneforge here is just better to try and get Jade out than Port is going to be. One thing I definitely have to look at as well is the clock, because we are down 4 minutes. Opponent has 3 cards. Recruiter, okay. Probably going for Flicker Wisp. Walking Ballista, interesting. Always no. Flicker Wisp. Okay, that's pretty nice. They have 3 cards left. So I could flicker out the Mum. It gives pro something to the Recruiter. And then we attack with the other creature. If they have a Swords, it's a little bit rough, but they did go and get Walking Ballista, so I feel like they don't have a Swords to Plowshares if they're fetching additional removal. So this is pretty interesting. I also can't attack with the Jide on the Stoneforge Mystic because they could give it -1/-1 and make it a 0/1, which means I wouldn't deal combat damage. Which probably means if I flicker the Mum, they just give Recruiter pro black, and then I can't attack with either, which is pretty rough. Interesting turn of events. I think Europe is going to attack first with the Germ. They're going to take it, which is nice for us. And then we're just going to pass with Port up. Port and Stoneforge up. Walking Blitz is always interesting. Ballista is also a bit of an issue because Thalia is not what I expected. That's going to be fine. They're going to equip to Thalia. Okay. Flicker Wisp is a little bit rough because it means that I guess I can flicker out the Jide here, or I could flicker out the Mum. If I flicker out the Mum, then I lose the Flicker Wisp to the Jide counter, but if I attack with the Batterskull with Jide, they can block with First Strike and they get counters anyway. Maybe Flicker Wisp just isn't best here. Maybe I should wait another turn. I don't think Flicker Wisp really does much. And I don't want to throw it away. Another Port. I'm going to play the Thalia because I really want them to use this counter. So I'm going to equip the Germ and just pass and see if they make a mistake with attacking. Yeah, I can also reset the Germ, which is nice. I can also take out the Jide. This feels like Walking Ballista. Okay. They're going to attack. So I could block with Stoneforge and then reset it. I could also block with both Thalia and Germ and make them use some counters. I guess I could bump it to a 4/3, take first strike damage, get counters, and then pump. I think I just want to block with the Batterskull and then see what they do. So now they're going to pump. They already played the Walking Blister, which is rough, so I can't use the Flicker Wisp. I think I just flicker out the Jide here. Now that they've used the counter, they kind of have to use the Walking Blister if anything. I can't flicker out the Wisp. I can't flicker out the Thalia, sorry, because of Mum. Another Mum. Okay, that's pretty good. Recruiter? Something. Mum. Not that great. So I can either hold up Batterskull, either like a return. I can make them use one counter. I think I just don't have a great way out of this. Yeah, unfortunately. I think the time is really my resource that I can use better and hopefully just get there in the next two. Yeah, Jide's really strong. Prelate's not the best either. I don't mind having an extra sword. Priest is also pretty interesting. Especially if we don't start on a Vial start, but have Priest. Thalia is definitely coming out. I guess Prelate's interesting because of the 3 power. And sorry, Prelate's awesome as well because could name 1 if we use our swords or have a Vial out early. Yeah, maybe the 3 power is just better. I don't mind this. It also means that if our opponent has like sort of Fire and Ice, it does stop them from drawing cards or trying to draw like an extra card in their turn off a canopy effect. But yeah, the main deck Ballista was huge. Especially, yeah, just pressuring us in a different kind of way. Love to play first. This hand is pretty good, especially if they don't start on Vial. It is a little bit higher, but they're also playing the Yorion version. That makes sense. That actually makes a lot of sense as to why they have Walking Blister. That's interesting. I don't mind taking out their Vial here with Apparition. Just to try to get some sort of play. My opponent's also on the Yorion version, so I don't think they're going to have Vial and Mum there. I think you're out his name Jide, because that's probably the card that I'm maybe not even most scared of. What do I want to name? I guess it could be Mum, because I can't keep them off all their mana. Off all their mana. Swords is pretty nice. I don't mind Sword and then Wasteland. Could also attack with both creatures and see how they played out. I don't think flickering the Skyclave yet is my best intention. I'm gonna get aggressive. They aren't gonna block. I think then it's just Sword and Waste. And don't bother holding up Swords to Plowshares, because I'm not scared of Jide with just 2 mana available for my opponent. I do want to try to play pretty aggressive in this game as well, to try to get as much time for game 3 if there is a game 3. Flicker Wisp is pretty good. But so was that. Guess I could have gotten a free attack off the Revoker there, but could have also taken out the Skyclave to get a 3/3. I do like taking out the aerial creatures though, so I can maybe start attacking with the Flicker Wisp. Judgment's okay. Yeah, that's all in hindsight, though. Mum's pretty great. I don't mind Mum, and then just attack with Flicker Wisp. Yeah, it's always tough. I guess Mum's pretty rough because the Revoker's on Mum. I've just drawn it first. But I guess I can reset Phyrexian Revoker, which is nice. Which might actually stop my opponent from dealing with the Mum before I get Revoker reset, which is kind of nice. Okay. They're gonna name Mum. I could deal with the Skyclave here, and then block here. I don't mind that. Canopy's pretty nice. I could definitely attack with the Mum. Yeah, that's definitely a miss attack. It's probably Walking Ballista, but it could also be Jade. Ballista's the big one because then I guess if I draw, I can't draw into Walking Ballista because I'm not running it, so that's a reason to name it. But I think that going for Jade is fine. There are more copies of it because there's 4 Stoneforge, but there's only a few copies of Walking Ballista because of the recruiters, unless they're running a full 4 recruiters in the Yorion version. Interesting, Yorion to hand. Yep. Is Yorion blue as well? Okay, that's pretty interesting. We have Sword of Feast and Famine. Sword of Fire and Ice, of course, got taken out. I think just Batterskull is fine. Opponent maybe didn't hit their 4th mana. Ballista's pretty good. Interesting. Definitely happy to attack first. And then probably just hold up Batterskull. I think that's better than Apparition. Court of Grace. That's fine. That's very interesting because we have this Batterskull, which means we have more attackers, especially if we take out one of these. I think we just take out the Walking Ballista, it takes out the Revoker, and then we get the Monarch, which is pretty huge. I guess they kind of, yeah, they can't block everything, so I should have gone for the Court of Grace, but that is fine. There's definitely no sense to taking out the Walking Ballista there. Yeah. That's just a misplay. Swords is a pretty nice draw. Flickwisp is annoying. Take out the Germ. I think here we just take out the Flickerwisp. Even though it gains them 3 life, it means that these 2 creatures, the spirit can't trade with these 2 creatures, which is nice. Well, that makes it a little bit easier. I think we just create a 2/2. No attack's interesting. I guess they're just wanting 1/1s. This is fine. Port. They tap the Caracas, which is interesting. I guess I should have tapped them down first to see what they have. But it's a bit late now. Yeah, I should definitely have tapped them off white. Because now if they have like a Source to Plowshares or a Path, yeah. That's just stupid. Get Apparition. Yeah, maybe getting Mum there is actually better. Interesting. Yeah, okay. Just loose plays from me. And only 5 minutes on the clock, it's going to be pretty hard to win this. I can't be too aggressive, but yeah, just a little bit too much time thinking. But yeah, I think like little things like after my draw step of drawing the Gideon, after my draw step of wanting to attack with the Gideon, definitely tap them off their 1 white mana, because it at least gives you so much information before you go to attacks. 1/1, but 12 minutes against 5, which is a little bit rough. But we'll see what we can do. It's a pretty good hand, I'll keep this. Turn 1 Mum Orville, double removal and Recruiter to get going. If they start on Mum with Swords, if they don't, we go Vial, okay. Second Vial, not the greatest, especially in my situation. Ballista's gonna be fine. Another sword, okay. Getting rid of that's pretty huge, and if they have a Mum here, we still have this the Vial. I'm gonna put my maybe not. I was thinking about Containment Priest there, but I think I should think more about Skyclave Apparition, and maybe just keep this for end step. Or like Recruiter for Phyrexian Invoker, I guess. Maybe Apparition as well, but we have the Mum, so. Flicker Wisp, that's fine. I think I save the swords for the Flicker Wisp to see what they actually target. Gideon, okay. Probably happy just with Vial and Pass. This is fine. Alright, both up. Yes, and yes. Huh. Alright. Another ballista's really good. I do want to get rid of this. Ooh. They only have one card left, so I think it's okay getting Flicker Wisp here. Alright. This one is always no. And this one is okay to go up. Alright, that's a start. I'm not going to attack because they could have anything, so I'm just going to put in Flicker Wisp and try to get this recruiter going. Nice. Yes. I actually like Stoneforge here, just to be a little bit more aggressive, especially with the Violent too. I should have actually put in Jide probably. It's probably better. Yeah, that's fair. I kind of forgot that we had the instant speed active file. Mum's okay. Put Yorion in hand. Alright. It's probably a big reason why I should have put in the yeah, the Jide last turn was much better than tapping down my opponent. Alright. Always no. Cool. 3 minutes. Yikes. I definitely want to get rid of the Mum here. Yeah. I think Jide just gets us there if we can win the game. I don't mind this. It just allows me to go a little bit wider and hopefully get there. But maybe there's better use of the Flicker Wisp. I think time just being a constraint here is making me think a little bit more through plays than I should be. Take out that jet. It's pretty funny. No great attacks either, so it's just a pass. Rough. This is fine. Yorion, take out Flicker Wisp, that's fine. Now we have Containment Priest to take out that Flicker Wisp. I think I just have to attack with everything, unfortunately. I don't think I really have another way out. Maybe the priest was a little bit better than everything. Maybe the priest is a card to keep back, but I'll definitely go back through this game and have a look at where I could have done better. Had a skull, okay. It's gonna be tough. I need like Caracas here. I guess we have a draw off the canopy as well, which is nice. Oh! Now I probably want to draw here just to see what I draw into. Stoneforge doesn't do a thing. Let's attack in the air with these two. No blocks. Pump. That's 8. Oh my gosh! Ah, wow. Definitely rusty. Definitely used my time, but that's a nice way to start. I think my issue was just talking through lines a little bit more than I should be. That was a tough one, but always nice to get up, especially against the Yorion version. Whew. But yeah, I think my big issue there was just talking through my lines a little bit more than I should have been, especially when I wasn't doing it. If I am going to talk through my lines like that, I should be talking through them as I make them. That was a sweet top deck. Woo! Haha! Woo! Very cool. Yeah, very close. Really close. Ah, Yuda, were you the player? Definitely a lot of things I could have done better. The ballistas were huge, but to have the removal for them in the third game was really nice before my opponent could get any real value out of them. They did get to trade with the mum, which is pretty huge, but luckily we didn't have our opponent untapping with them and pumping more mana in them. Yeah. Love the Stoke. Yes. Lots of swords, yeah. Okay, on the play, this hand's pretty good. Got a bunch of 2-drops, which I'm happy with. Happy just to lead on the planes. And then see what we're up against. There's not many hands that I'd keep without a Vial or a Mum, but I think this is probably one of them. I think in a tournament, if I had this hand, I would be happy just to play with it. It's got some nice stuff against combos. Stoneforge, of course, is really good against the unfair decks. Basic Swamp is interesting. I'm going to assume Thalia is the name. Swords to Plowshares, interesting. I'm not sure if Bug Hogaak plays Basic Swamp, or if it just plays Jewels. But here even though I drew the Vial, I think the best play is still just going for Thalia. It'd be a little bit different if my opponent led on a Jewel land. There's probably a consideration for Wasteland Vial, but I think on the play against a deck like this, I'm happy to play the Thalia. Okay. Interesting. They probably get a Vengevine here, which is kind of scary. Carrion Feed is going to be super good with this Stitcher Supplier. I think this Vial, even though it was on turn 2, it's just a little bit too late. There is thought for... Ooh, Skyclave Apparition's actually really nice. But it's a case of what do I want to do? And it's probably take out the Carrion Feeder, because the other two can just be sacrificed to Carrion Feeder. Which I think is okay. I think I can take another hit. It also means next turn, if they don't Cabal Therapy me, I get to play two drops. And I think it just gets sort of Fire and Ice because it's the equipment that I least care about getting Cabal Therapied. I am not going to attack. Maybe I am. I actually am going to attack because I don't want them to have the Stitch Supplier for Cabal Therapy. I'm actually not too unhappy with them having the extra cards in the graveyard. And we still have Skyclave, which can block the Stitcher Supplier. But seeing that that Carrion Feeder makes me think, and the Faithless Looting makes me think this is going to be Jund Hogaak and not Bug. That's pretty good. It's a really good turn. Karak is the big card that I need to find pretty quickly. Even something like Jide off the top doesn't do it because of the Hogaak now. They're going to Cabal me now. Okay. I guess taking Stoneforge. Spirit's interesting because the 3 lines up really well with the Vengevine. So now they get Hogaak and Vengevine, which is tough. Yeah, exactly. At least we have some good board cards. Rest in Peace, obviously really nice. Surgical, really nice. Containment Priest, pretty good. I think you're gonna have to draw just to try to get Caracas. Yeah, triple Vial is not gonna do it. I think I'd rather just try to save some time and play these next two. Path, Containment Priest, Rest in Peace. Hey, episode 25. Hope you're doing well. Sword's pretty good. So we brought in these. Prelate can probably come out. Thalia is probably a little bit too slow. Revoke is interesting because of Carrion Feeder, which can get away, but I think there's probably better things. Spirit doesn't do a whole lot other than interact with Faithless Looting, and I don't think that's even that great. Mum's great, Path and Swords is great, Vial's great, Stoneforge is great, Thalia can come out, Recruiters and Flicker Wisps and Skyclaves are fine. I think this is fine. Apparition's pretty slow, but it does take care of a lot of their cards, especially Vengevine, which is nice. Spirit is fine, better than Fourth's Wisp. Yeah, Wisp is interesting. I do like the ability just to have a flyer. And also with Flicker Wisp, it's also got some really nice shenanigans, so I'll see how this goes. Yikes. It's a one lander. I don't really like this. I think if I'm going to be trading 1-for-1 with my opponent's creatures, it's not good enough. I really need something like a Surgical or a Rest in Peace. Hey Jerry. I did mention this. This deck is unfortunately missing Green Suns, but I think that's okay. Just for now. Yeah, we're going to 5. And we're keeping this. I think it's bottom Jide and Flicker. And hope the other ones do the job. At least we have 2 lands to draw into Rest in Peace within the first couple of turns to cast it. Hope you're well, Jerry. Hope you're having a nice coffee. I definitely wish I was. I'll tell you that right now. What are you, Cabal? Rest in Peace. Okay. That's going to be fine. It kind of makes me just want to go with a Stoneforge here if we don't draw into another 2-drop. You said it, opponent. You said it. What a gamer. I feel like that's the Thoughtseize issue with MTGO. Like when you Thoughtseize someone, they draw it. Sadie's gonna be fine. They hit a Gravecrawler and a Plague Engineer, which is pretty relevant. It's nice to know that they bring in Plague Engineer out of the board. No point activating Vial there because they know our hand. That's nice. So this is an interesting one. I could go Stoneforge and get Jide on the table, which I think is better than just holding up Sword. They could also have Force of Vigor, but I think if they did, they probably would have taken out the Vial and the Rest in Peace. Jide and cast. Can't therapy at the top of the deck. I like that. Wow. Okay. That's pretty interesting. I assume they might have kept a hand where they had Cabal Therapy as their answer to something like Rest in Peace. I don't think there's anything that I want to change. I don't mind bringing in maybe a Gideon and taking out a Wisp. Just seeing that that Plague Engineer kind of gives me a little bit of nerves. I know usually it's too late by the time you find your Gideon, but I definitely don't mind it. It's also relevant to make a lot of our X1s, X2s against a lot of their 1/1s. This is a 1-land of Vile Swords, but we do have Containment Priest. The issue is that if we don't draw into lands, then we really have to rely on Vile, but Containment Priest kind of goes against that. I mean, would I keep a 6 where this is the hand without Jide? And I think I would, but yeah. This is mostly one draw step to hit land. Yeah, it's pretty rough. Risk it. Chat, I want to see a few more riskets, and then I'll see what I do with the biscuit. There's a biscuit in it for me. Okay, we're keeping this. At least there's also educational purposes to showing why you shouldn't keep the hand. So it's kind of a win-win here. I'm feeling. Right. I would risk it. May afford. Thank you. Faithless. Okay. First draw step Caracas. That'd be pretty nice. Oh, Bridge and Bloodghast. Rick! Come on, Rick! Get out of here! I think I hide it for now and I just play the Plains. And probably go... I think Vile is just better. This is actually an interesting one because if my plan is Containment Priest, then I'd probably rather just hold up the Swords. Yeah, this is a... I think it is Vile. The issue is that Bloodghast is just so good with Cabal Therapy. Yeah. I think that if I got to play my game as well. Yeah, Shade of Hades has the right step there. Episode 25, everyone. Welcome to chat. Oh, and Carrion Feeder. Anything else? Oh, just trying to get some... Okay. This is fair. Just trying to go wide with the zombies? Gravecrawler, okay. I think here we just hold up the, Oh, Rest in Peace. That's interesting. We're definitely playing Caracas. So I think no matter what we do, my opponent is going to sack the Bloodghast to the Carrion Feeder to get a 2/2. I think it's just Rest in Peace, and then hopefully we can grind back the game with Stoneforge into Batterskull. Taking out the bridge for further turns is pretty good. Yeah, I think it has to be Rip, because the amount of value they get off Gravecrawler and Bloodghast coming back from the bin next turn off the Carrion Feeder, especially if they have one, I think it just has to be Rip. So will they sack the Bloodghast here, or will they keep it in play because it's still 2 power and they might get some value off it down the line if the Rest in Peace goes? That's interesting. Yeah, definitely an interesting play. A 2/2 is obviously better than a 2/1, but this might give me information that they have an answer. Abrupt Decay. Yeah, okay. Hey, Dark Cloud. Hope you're well. Thank you very much for the 9-month sub. 8-month sub, sorry. But still, 8 months is very cool. This is pretty similar to the list that I played in paper last night. Just one change being a 3-1 split instead of a 2-1 split. Oh, maybe the play here is to flicker out the Carrion Feeder and then put an Aether Vial. That's kind of cool. Flicker Wisp out Carrion Feeder. And then... Thankfully, I got the 4-0 last night, which is nice. Yeah, maybe Wasteland's better, especially on the Bayou. Taking them off green is pretty nice. I guess Red's interesting as well because Faithless Looting is just so good at trying to get back into this game and turning this graveyard online. I'm not going to block either of these. I'm just going to go to 8. And then at least next turn we have Stoneforge off Vial. We can play Jide and equip it if we draw a land. We can also play Jide and hold up swords. Oh. Oh, I can't Vial because the Priest? Yeah, okay, that makes sense. They have to sack for the Jide here, surely. Probably to sack the Gravecrawler, then replay it. Do it anyway? Hey, Quiz. Hope you're well. Go after Jide, okay. I guess that... Can they cast the Grave... Yeah, they can cast the Gravecrawler. Doesn't like... Yeah, that's fine. Alright, this is going up to 3. Port's actually really nice, because now we get to... Huh. It's probably green, but I was talking about Faithless Looting, so maybe it actually is going to be red. Yeah, red sorcery, so I guess Port kind of answers it there. No great attacks. Now I'm definitely in a weird spot as well, because my blocks don't line up too well, and I'm on 8, so... I kind of feel like I have to use the swords on the Bloodghast. And then just take 4. As long as I can control a zombie, that's interesting. So maybe the Gravecrawler is actually the hit, yeah. Because of the token. Hey Peter, hope you're well. I think the Wisp is blocking here, unfortunately. I think Wisp is just trying to... I guess we could go to 4. But then, yeah, the miss attack is a big one. It's where I really should have thought about, am I happy to trade the Wisp? Yeah, I'm just trying to think what I want to block with, because Flicker Wisp has that little bit more benefit later on. Yeah. I think it's just this. Yeah. So this we don't have to worry about anymore. Land. I think again I can just use my life as a resource and take this, which again probably means that I should have just attacked with the Containment Priest, but that takes a little bit of thinking. Canopy is kind of a draw. I think I am going to block next turn. I don't want to go too low. Batterskull would be nice as well. You would go to 2? I guess it depends if they have a land or not, because then like Abrupt Decay just kills me. This might be one of my last chances to block. Unfortunately. Oof. Okay. Stoneforge into Batterskull and hope that gets there, but they have just drawn into their land that they kind of need. But I feel like I don't really have a great out. Yeah, they could have been holding the land. That makes a lot of sense. This makes me feel like that Batterskull. Sorry, Abrupt Decay for the Stoneforge. Or at least something at instant speed. Tough. Five mana and a dream. Yeah. Alright, can we draw a 3-drop? A 3-drop would be perfect. Ah, so close. They use the Abrupt Decay, so surely they have another one. Surely they have something here. You don't Abrupt Decay the Stoneforge Mystic if you don't have an answer to the Germ. There's no way. There we go. What's this? Bloodghast. It has haste. That's fine. That doesn't work. What's next? Do they have triple Bloodghast? That doesn't work either. Carrion Feeder? No Carrion Feeder. They can't even block the one that we... That's interesting. Wow. Okay. Huh. I'm gonna play the Vial, or I could double port and hold up 2. There's a world where the Vial's relevant, surely. So let's go with tap down red first. They don't float. They don't float. Okay. They don't float. Okay. Yeah, we have 15 minutes. So I'm not too scared of not having an answer there. Oh, here we go. Another one. Okay, that's fine. This is fine. These can't even block. What do I want? I think I want Stoneforge. Ooh, that's pretty good as well. That's actually very good. I think that's better than porting my opponent. Holding up Caracas because then I can return a Hogaak or cast a Swords to Plowshares if I draw it. Wasteland. Guess that takes him off hard casting Vengevine. There's some contention to keep the Wasteland, because if I draw into a land, then I can return the Batterskull and play it all in the same turn, which means that something like Abrupt Decay isn't all the best. Vengevine's fine. This is more than fine. They have one card left? What is it? I guess they can block with Vengevine? Is that the play? What can we draw? Come on now. Surgical, that's interesting. That doesn't really do anything though. Yeah, I mean, it has to be their only play, so... Attack with Germ. I guess I could also Abrupt Decay, take out the Abrupt Decays by Surgicaling them. That's pretty interesting, just to see what else they have. They have one card left, so they definitely don't have Abrupt Decay. So I might as well allow them to... I could tap down Bayous and take them off Abrupt Decay that way. Two cards for my opponent. They're attacking with everything. I'm pretty happy just to... There's definitely no reason not to block. Stitches. Okay. What do they hit? Thoughtseize, Bloodstained Mire. That's not going to do it. I guess it is a creature that can block. So both of these are now going to be no. Come on, Flicker Wisp. Come on, Flicker Wisp. One time. Wasteland. Alright. Plague Engineer, looting Bloodstained Mire. Nice. Whew. Batterskull. 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 I'm gonna get a beer. I'll be back in a second, and hopefully continue the streak. Yeah, Rick, I agree with that 100%. I think that that is the better play. Yeah, I definitely like holding up Batterskull. The rust continues. Well, that's good beer. Coopers. It's a green screen, so it doesn't actually show the green, but it's good beer. So the EV for chests right now is 2.42 ticks, and the bots are selling them for 2.35. Interesting. Up against Kozaka. Oof. Huh. This is a trap. I'm never going to keep these hands. As good as it could be if you draw into, you know, 3 lands in a row, these are the big ones. If this was a plains, I think I would consider it a little bit more, but I'd still say no. This is actually pretty good. I'll keep this. I think I'll keep and I'll bottom the Karakas. The Karakas is interesting because obviously it's worse against Wasteland decks, but the utility of it is just so much better against some of the others. Yeah, it might be Wisp. I kind of feel like the 3 lands is really nice. So it's between Wisp and Swords, and I think it's going to be Sword. I think it's going to be Wisp. Yeah. I think just keeping my curve low is really nice as well. Because turn 1 Mum off the plains, and then we can go Port. Oof, okay. This is going to be an interesting one. I'm going to assume this is Cloud Post, if they're playing main deck Sorcerer's Spyglass, but it could be some sort of Eldrazi deck as well. Now I kind of just want to hold up the swords for Thought-Knots here, instead of playing the Mum. I don't think the Mum's going to be doing too much this game anyway. Cloud Post. Yikes. Grim. Okay. That's a big yikes. Oof. Yeah. Okay. I guess we can't do anything but port here, so... Luckily they can't untap that yet. Oof. Okay, at least they only have one card left, so if it's a payoff, it's a payoff, but otherwise, we're looking pretty good. I guess Apparition down the line can take out one of these. I kind of like Spirit here more than Thalia, because it's a faster clock, and it won't tax my swords, which means I can leave up Caracas if I really want to. Especially with the Ancient Tombs in play. Thought-Knot's pretty good. But now it'll be interesting to see what they take, because if they don't take the Batterskull, then that could become an issue in 2 turns. But if they take the swords, then we have an answer to the Thought-Knot Seer. So that's actually a pretty tough take. Unless they have a backup play for the Batterskull. They took Thalia. What? Was that a misclick? Definitely swords this now. Play a land. Ah, of course, I should have swords dinner. I guess, yeah. Yeah, that's tough. That's me saying that 3 life is more important than drawing a card, which is a pretty tough one. Another spirit. Yeah, that's definitely an interesting one, because I did want to just keep attacking, so I kind of felt like getting that extra, I guess, 1 damage in because they gain the 4 is just better. Maybe a Revoker's better here on, like, Walking Ballista, because that's a pretty good out. Untap the Grim. Okay, they got a 4. Well, it's pretty good for us. Puts lethal on the board, which is nice. Which kind of makes me feel like they have to have something here. Yeah, that is Codas. Nice. This is going to be an interesting one because I have next to nothing for this matchup. I'm going to say the extra parts are okay. The Gideons are interesting. Yeah, this is rough. I guess it's a case of what do I actually want to bring out. I guess like the mums are probably the first thing. Yeah, Surgical's an interesting one. I guess I could try to go on the route of like Wasteland Cloudpost, Surgical Cloudpost. I think that those are probably just better than mums. Gideon's interesting because it speeds up the clock. Need Cataclysm? Yeah, Cataclysm would be pretty good. Maybe it's a case for like one path and Spirit can come out. Spirit's interesting because of the 3 power, but I think this is actually okay. I'll see how this plays. Two-lander with Revoker. Interesting. His hand is very aggressive, but otherwise doesn't really achieve much. But to be fair, we don't really have a sideboard plan, so I'm not really looking for sideboard cards in my opening. I'm still probably looking for a Vial start. I think Vial is probably my best draw. This is actually pretty good. I'll keep this in bottom 1 Gideon. And at least if my opponent goes for... Ooh, Ayavugan. That's interesting. That makes me think my opponent has a Eldrazi. So I might just go Karakas pass, and then next turn I can play the Vial. Because otherwise I don't have a great answer to an early Thought Knot. Probably just take the Gideon. I don't think Vial... I think it's too late for Vial. They took Vial. That's interesting. So now we get to go... Ooh. I think Stoneforge for Batterskull is better than Spirit. Blast Zone's fine. Not really scared of that. Warping Whale? Okay. That's fair. I do want to get some amount of pressure on the board, so I think it's just going to be Spirit here over the Port. Two more turns, and then I feel really good. Because if I can go Gideon into double Port, I'd be very happy. Now it's an interesting one. They're still down on mana. Like, the Cloud Post is 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I feel like we have a turn here of playing Gideon and then just trying to finish it with double Port. I guess all this dust is something to be concerned about, but I'm sure it will be fine. One nice thing with Gideon is that we can make it a creature, attack, return it with Karakas, replay it, make a 2/2. I probably won't be doing that, but definitely something to consider when you play Karakas and a legendary creature in Gideon. The cool thing if you are playing Cataclysm as well is you can create Gideon Alev Zendikar as a creature and then Cataclysm and keep it as a creature. This could just be all this dust. Yeah, okay. Planes. So I could Flicker Wisp, I could also Batterskull. I think I like Spirit and 1 Port. Does the same if I Flicker Wisp a land? Yeah. So let's go like this. Spirit, Port, hold up Karakas. Tap this. Glimmer Post, okay. Khan's pretty good. Liquid metal coating. Ah, at least we can do something cool here. We can play Flicker Wisp. And then I can flicker this planes. So then I can port them in their turn as well. But with Karn on the board, it's pretty rough because they could have Ensnaring Bridge, Walking Ballista. It's gonna be pretty tight tonight. Yeah, Bris Vegas has been getting really good numbers for Modern on Fridays, which is good. I don't know if I'll be there because it's my one night off, but I know there will be at least 20, I'm gonna say. It's usually pretty good. But yeah, unfortunately this game looks a little bit sus. Hey Ryan, a huge thank you for the raid. What did you play tonight? I saw you doing some giveaways on your channel as well. So if anyone is keen on other Australian streamers who do giveaways, definitely check out Ryan. Yikes. Yeah, Ballista's good. Still not much we can do here. There's some thoughts of Feast and Famine, just as another way to pressure, which I don't mind. Skyclave's really nice on 7 or 4. It might just be the extra path. It might just be relying on their swords for Thought Knots. But an interesting one. Maybe just too combo heavy in my sideboard. Yikes. Yeah. This is such a good hand if I had Vial. But I can't really not keep this. Opponent kept 7. Spyglass on Port. Stoneforge Mystic is probably going to get Batterskull, but trying to play around Thought Knot's just really hard. Maybe I should have played like an extra like Council's Judgment in the board. Or a Skyclave Apparition, just to go up to 4 if I wanted to. I can only assume my opponent here names Port. Because even if we top decked Wasteland, it wouldn't be that great. Yeah. File is probably just too slow. I think here it's just Stoneforge into Batterskull, but... it's rough if they have Thought Knots here. Or Warping Whale, I guess. Maybe there's room for Thalia just being the better play. At least next time we get Jade and Vial down. I think that's better than second Stoneforge. But, like, Spyglass into Thought Knot's pretty tough. Especially if they have another backup like Karn. Definitely an uphill battle. Episode 25, what are you playing in Modern at the moment? I saw you were playing a blue-black control deck. That looked pretty sweet. I think it was just blue-black. I saw that Gabriel Nassif was playing a Blue Moon deck, which is cool. Definitely a deck that I enjoy playing, but haven't played it in a little while. Yep. No attacks? Surely you attack there. You just win the race so easily. Okay, that's a start. Draw. Skyclave. Okay. Get in, get some counters. It's kind of nice. Hey, Rob Fighting. Where are all my planes? They are in the deck. Thankfully for now, they're not doing too much. This is a really cool card. Colorless creatures you control get +2/+2. Whenever you tap a permanent for colorless and an additional one, that's pretty brutal. Ulamog's pretty good. Ulamog is pretty close to just GG. Hull Breach is really cool. I do like Hull Breacher in the Urza Echo decks, where you're running LED and Urza, of course. I think it's pretty cool in Vintage as well. There's obviously a few people trying it out. It's seeing a lot more play than Opposition Agent, which is the black one, but... What about Rug? That's a tough one. Rug's got a lot of good 3-drops in Oko, Uro, and even Clots. But I think if you're wanting to play it, I could definitely see it as a place for it. Yeah. 2-1. Just a little bit slow there. The port hand's obviously a lot better with the Vial, and then the Spyglass on port was kind of just lights out on our plan. But yeah, it looks like right now with Hull Breacher and Legacy, a lot of decks are trying to abuse it more than just play it as an extra kind of, not gotcha, but way to attack your opponent's resources. Because yeah, it's pretty absurd with Echo when you get to gain 7 mana and also draw 7. Yeah, it's a good time to be a deck that doesn't draw cards outside of the odd 1 or 2. Because I remember when Notion Thief got printed, a lot of people were up in arms, but Hull Breach is just a whole nother ball game. Especially being 2 and 1 blue, it's a little bit different to Narset, which is of course double blue. So a little bit easier to cast. Hey, thanks Ryan. All the best. Enjoy your week ahead, and I'll see you soon. So we got up against Yorion Death and Taxes, we got up against Jund Hogaak, and we just went down to, I'm going to call it Eldrazi Post. Definitely didn't look like it had green in it, so it's not going to be some sort of mono green Cloud Post deck. Just, yeah, just a really fast deck. Alright. Hey Burka, thanks for the follow. Hope you're well. This hand is okay. I'll keep this. The double Caracas is a little bit interesting, but I think it's going to be okay. LED. Okay. Well, that's not what I want to see. Fiery Islet. Okay. Ah, is this just Dredge? Okay, that's not too bad. They hit a Bridge and a Dredger. They hit 2 Icarids. Yeah, okay, this is getting out of hand pretty quickly. Hogaak's there. There's 1 Narcomoeba. I don't want to show them what we're on. So, Surgicals are good. Deafening Silence is interesting. I think I'm just going to go with Containment Priest and Rest in Peace. The parts are also pretty interesting. Spirit's okay. I could see myself dropping one. Revoker can definitely come out. Mum's okay. Prelate is interesting. I think I'd rather just rely on my removal than have a prelate out. Thalias I do like, especially being legendary. You can play multiples to trigger bridge. Skyclave seems okay. Wisp is kind of cool because you can take out a token. Maybe the spirits aren't where I want to be, but spirits definitely interesting. I can see myself going down on the land as well. Yeah, Mum's an interesting one. Mum obviously can make attacks pretty awful. It does mean like Icarid trades with a Mum, which is kind of nice. It's not that great because the protection doesn't really matter. A lot of the time you're trying to get there just by trading against an X1 to maybe remove some bridges, but that's about it. I can definitely see some being sided out. Stoneforge I like. Recruiters I don't mind. Thalias are fine. It might just be a Flicker Wisp, just because it's a little bit slow, and I do like Skyclave a lot more. But it's a tough one. I don't want the Deafening Silences, although interesting. I'm not sure that's really where I want to be. It does stop like the fast LED lines. I guess Trap does as well, but that's probably not the way that I want to play against Dredge. It's more so just try to attack their graveyard with some hate. Did we already lose to Dredge? Yeah, I conceded to the game 1 Cabal of a pretty good Dredge. There is some thought to removing the spirits and bringing in the Deafening Silencers, because at least that slows them down a fair bit. Especially not allowing them to chain some sort of Dredge into Cabal therapies. I think it's interesting enough on the play to think about it. On the draw, I definitely wouldn't, but I think something like this is fine. Let's go like this. Yeah, I think stopping our 1 mana removal is just a little bit too huge. This sounds pretty good. I'll keep this. Having the Caracas for Hogaak's really nice as well, but we are relying on the turn 2 Rest in Peace. Maybe I should have led with the Caracas. I don't think they'll have a turn 1 Hogaak. Looting's okay. Cabal Grave Troll. Okay, just a pass. That's pretty good for us. It's gonna be Wasteland. It might just be Port into Rest, and then next turn we can do some shenanigans. Do they play Force? Okay, they don't. But now they know. So now I'm pretty happy. Great experiment. Let's take out the Deafening Silences. I don't mind the traps. If they saw the Rest in Pieces, they're either going to do two things. They're going to go really quick and try to go under them, or they're going to bring in some removal for them and go a little bit slower. And I think if they go slower to play around Rest in Peace, I think Death and Taxes is favored. But if they go faster, it's going to be an issue. And maybe that's where I have to rely more on my free spells, like Surgical and Trap. Most Dredge lists decide between enchantment or artifact removal. Yeah, I'm not sure if this deck can run Force of Vigor if the green count is high enough. They have Hogaak, Golgari Grave Troll, and the like 1 green, black, and 1 creature, which is 12, which is pretty low. Dredge does. Okay. I think the traps are fine. It definitely allows me to have some game in the very early game where I definitely have no game. So that seems fine. And then on the draw, it might just be a Mum. Shenanigans and Nature's Claims. Yeah. In the blind, this is a fine hand, but I'm going to mulligan this. Yikes. I think sadly, again, it just has to be a mulligan. Just not really doing enough. I really want to see like that 3 spell hand at least. Ugh. Okay, keep. Put 3 back. 1, 2, 3. Looting's gonna be okay. I think the Surgical Bridge is the big card that I want to get rid of because they're the faster games that I can really not play around. LED's fine. And just a pass. Alright. Planes. So it's either hold up Path or play the Vial. And I think the Vial is just a little bit better because it allows me to really progress my board state if I do get a turn, and I think that the Surgical gives me that. So here we'll see Thug. Nothing too much yet, which is great for us. They do have the Faithless Lootings, which is interesting. Maybe there's a case for actually Surgicaling the Lootings, but I think that's a little bit loose. So let's actually bring this... There's Breakthrough. Now they crack. So, I guess in response to Breakthrough, I could take out the Lootings, but... Tap Bluff for Triad Arbor. I don't think it's worth taking out Looting here because they do have the Breakthrough. I could take out the Shambling Shells, but they still have 2 Dredges and Stinkweed and Golgari Thug, so I think it's worth just keeping the Surgical for either Narcomoeba or Bridge. There's a Narcomoeba trigger, which is pretty interesting. They only hit the 1. So maybe it's a case of going after Narcomoebas now and then leaving the bridges for later. Yeah, I'm not sure what the islets are. Maybe it's to get the extra draws off them as well, which is interesting. I think I'm happy to go for the Narcomoebas here. And then Path takes 2 red. Yeah, that's fair. I guess as well, I'm not too scared of the Icarids and the Narcomoebas if I do take out the bridges. Because if I draw into something like Thalia, having a first strike creature is pretty strong against the Icarids. They didn't really bring in anything. That's interesting. I don't think they had a single way to deal with Rest in Peace. Yeah, wow. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, I mean, Rip Off the Top is a huge draw. They might also just go for Ox here, which is interesting. Yeah. Thankfully, neither of these 2 creatures can cast Hogaak, which is nice. They're also down to 3 cards in the bin. I'm just going to pause for a bit to act like I have another Surgical, perhaps. Just to see if I can waste 1. Rest in peace. Okay, that's a fair name. Now they probably have to lose another Narcomoeba here so they can save the Ox from the path. But next turn they have 1 Icarid, 2 Icarid, 3 Icarids. So they pretty much have lethal next turn. 6. Yeah, it's looking pretty bad. Maybe the Vial was the wrong choice. Maybe it was better to hold up path. Alright, come on. Rest in peace, Surgical or Containment Priest? Chide. That does a whole lot of nothing. Ah, casting Hogaak. Interesting. 6, 9. Yeah, it works out the same anyway. Rough. Not much I can do there. Dredge still got it. It was a pretty tough mull. I mean, going to 4 is never fun. But I think they're just maybe making the option to not play the Vial and hold up path was better. Because then there's a possibility that they don't make it. I guess they have 2 more draws, and they would have got there in 2 more attacks anyway without the Ox. This is an interesting hand. I don't love it. Just a little bit too late for me. Hey, thanks, Serpent. This hand's fantastic. I'll keep this and I'll bottom the Batterskull. Nice. Yeah, I would say that last hand wouldn't beat Delver. Or at least have a really tough time against it. Especially if Prelate's naming 1, then drawing into Swords to Plowshares is pretty dead. And the Recruiter's pretty tough as well. Not too sure what we're up against. Dan Deluxe. Basic Island. Ponder. Okay. Next turn play Wasteland and then just hold up Vile Mum. Swords. I guess I don't mind playing Stoneforge here. Especially just like if I draw into another 2-drop, it really rewards me. And like if my opponent wants to daze me or force, I don't really mind. Putting them back is more than fine. This is fine. I chose not to shuffle with the Ponder. Preordain is 2 on top, which is pretty good for my opponent. Alright, take this up to 2. Fist is okay. Pond is okay. Interesting, that means they can't attack this turn unless they play Gut Shot. Which is interesting. I have seen some decks play Gut Shot, especially the ones playing Sprite Dragon. So it'd be interesting to see if they attack or not. They do attack. Why? Why do you do this to me? I think the loss of Mum is just so huge that I'm happy to take the 2. Save the swords for something else. Revoker. I probably don't mind casting the Revoke here. Holding up the swords. It doesn't play around days, but I think because of the apparition, I'm not going to be casting the swords this turn anyway. What do I want to name? That's an interesting one. There's a 3-mana walker that gives your creature like +1 and trample or something. Yeah, Royal, that's it. Thank you. Is it the Royal Scions? Nice, that's it. Yeah, cool. Now that's a card that I definitely want to hit with the Aberration. This is going to be fine. I wonder if they play Stifle. I guess if they did, that'd probably let this resolve anyway, because even if it's Flicker Wisp, then they can just stifle the trigger. And then happy to take this. I'm happy to play around Daze here, or any like Spell Pierce as well. Alright, so this is always no. Yeah, I think I'll definitely take out the Revoker. Not doing a whole lot here. Port's actually pretty nice. I'm going to hold the swords for now. There is some merit to swording in my turn so that a Force of Will or some sort of counterspell doesn't pump this with Spear in theirs. But I feel like that's okay. Yeah. Wasteland's okay. Getting a Volk, that's interesting. Dreadhorde, okay. See if they do anything. No. Happy to try to swords this here. There is some merit to trying to play around Spell Pierce, but sword is very good. They didn't save the Arcanist, so I assume they don't have a way to stop this. Would be interesting if they did. Wow. That's fine. I'll pay for that. Make them have the other days as well. Nice. Aggressive. The nice thing about playing around Grape Shot. No, not Grape Shot, sorry. I keep thinking about Mental Misstep, but it's not Mental Misstep. What is the red? Gut Shot. There we go. The nice thing about playing around Gut Shot is that the mum now is still here to save our creature from being bolted in response to equipping to the sword, which I really like. I definitely did not say that, Serpent. No way. But yeah, Gutshot's obviously a pretty powerful card, especially in the right meta. Gutshot next card banned in Legacy? Hopefully not. Gutshot has definitely been in my sideboard for D&T before, as a kind of mirror breaker, back when there's a lot of X1s. Hey Serpent, a huge thank you for the Prime sub. I hope you're well. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what you play in Legacy. No blocks here. Just the mountain and the wasteland up. This is fine. Nice. This goes on the stack, but of course we don't do anything. Huge. I'm going to equip to the Skyclave. I think it's a little bit more important. Attack with both of these. And then I might as well see if we can kill the Swift Spear here. Just to get it off the table. They could have something like a bolt, but they don't. So now I'm pretty happy just to go for Thalia. If they want to counter it, that's more than fine. Yeah, I'm doing a lot of work. There was something that the Maverick girl said. The activation of Mum is so much more scarier than Mum actually activating, and I think in this game it was just a complete blowout, which is nice. I think it's just paths that I want. The Revoker can come out. I do like the Spirits, the Stoneforges, the Thalias. The Prelate's an interesting one. Because a lot of our removal's on 1, I don't like Prelate for 1, but I think if we're ahead by using some of this early, then Prelate for 1 is okay. You're from Vienna? Sweet scene here with Wicked Legacy FNM. Oh, nice. That's cool. Yeah, of course, COVID did put a few bumps in the cog, but hopefully you guys are doing okay. Hopefully you personally is doing okay with the virus. Luckily where I'm from we didn't get hit too hard. I think it's just gonna be a recruiter. I think I'm happy just with the one recruiter. I'd rather take out the fluff than take out an actual card. Yeah, this is fine. Hope for that Plains and Vial hand. Definitely my favorite ones. Close. Interesting hand. Obviously pretty slow. There's no removal. And I think against this version of blue-red, I really want that extra removal in my opening hand, just to make sure I don't have to find it. So I am going to mulligan once. And this is a pretty perfect hand. I'm going to keep this, and I'm going to bottom the second port. Having that vial is so nice, especially with the planes. But having two swords as well is really nice. Let's be honest. Rob fighting, that's great to hear. It's always nice to hear Legacy players go back to playing in paper, because obviously that's where the heart of the format is. Let's see what this ponder did. Chose not to shuffle. Okay. I'm going to assume this is a daze, but there's just such a high upside if it doesn't. And at least it's one daze. Ooh, interesting. That the sword doesn't get hit by. Maybe they have an answer. Maybe there's something like a braid or smash to smithereens for the vial. Sprite's pretty good. Sprite is a very scary creature. It'll be shenanigans? Okay. Interesting, especially because you can get it back, which is nice, at free will. Another plains, come on. Another plains would be perfect. That's what I really hope for. Another vial. Ugh. Swords first. Okay. Play vial. I mean, if this got countered, I'd be super happy. Come on, opponent. Yeah, 100%. There's a huge difference between paper legacy with your mates and MTGO. Luckily, I have you guys in chat, which makes it a huge difference. But yeah, otherwise it can get pretty rough. MTGO by yourself sometimes can be a little bit lonely. Second fetch into a Volk, which is interesting. Maybe they only have the one mountain? Alright. I actually think Thalia is my best draw here, because it means I can vial her in and then play the swords without it getting countered. Flicker Wisp. Oof. Okay. Well, that's nice. Sometimes they just don't have the counter magic. Wasteland's okay. I'm going to activate the vial on one first to see if they have anything to respond with. They don't. Let's put in Stoneforge and probably just go for Batterskull. It makes Stoneforge just so much worse. One mistake I see opponents doing all the time is bolting the Stoneforge here before I've even gotten an equipment, because if this Stoneforge gets bolted right now, I'm getting Jet A, no doubt. But if it doesn't, I'm probably going for Batterskull. So you might as well always wait for your opponent to grab the equipment they want and then thinking about swords. Wow, nothing. So now I get Flicker Wisp, which is really nice. So a land here would be tops. It's gonna be swords, okay. That makes me want to attack with the Stoneforge. My opponent had 3 mana or did nothing. That's really weird. Bauble's fine. Interesting to see no creatures out and Bauble cast. Ha, they saw the spirit. Okay. Kind of gives it up. So this does play actually around spirit pretty nicely as well. I am still going to put the spirit in, just to increase my clock. I could keep it if I wanted to, maybe keep it to respond to like a brainstorm. But at least here we can say no to both of these and just keep them at 3 and 2. which is really nice. I mean, we have some really good top decks. Even a land is beautiful because of Batterskull, and it's a plains even, so very, very happy with this current position. I'm not sure if our opponent actually has an out to this, because the Batterskull is going to really take over this game, and to have Flickerwisp backup is just really nice. Pyroclasm. I'm going to put in the Batterskull. And then I don't think I want to save anything here. I want to hold up the Flickerwisp in case they have an answer for the Batterskull. So I'm actually going to let these just die. With the 2 damage on it as well, they might try to bolt this, and then we can just reset it with Flickerwisp. So that's probably the best answer. Wow, they don't have anything. Alright. I'm more than happy just holding up the Flickerwisp here and not playing it. It does increase the clock, but I think we're doing okay in regards to applying pressure. I'm going to fetch now. Maybe trying to blow this up before we draw a land to return it in response. Yeah. Oh, interesting. They're going after this. Huh. I think we just let this happen. And then if we draw a land, yeah, we can hold up the return Batterskull. And then next turn we can put this vial up to 3. Yeah, so this is actually a really good spot. So when it goes on the stack, I'll turn off the auto. Baubles aren't the greatest right now, especially with no creatures in play. No added effects. Probably just trying to look hard for another piece of removal for the germ. Let's put this on and change it to stop auto. Yeah, they have drawn a fair amount of land. I will definitely give them that. So maybe they'll try to blow this up in response to the... Interesting. So we get to return it. And then put this up to 3. Huh, okay. That's kind of nice. Preordain's gonna be fine. Two on top. Okay, that's a little bit scary. Torpor Road's pretty spicy. I have seen it in some boards, I've never seen it in play. This can always be a no. Nice. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of creatures that I can hit, which is nice. Bolt's gonna be okay. Yeah, that's fine. We can't even save it because of the Torpor Rob. I mean, Torpor Rob against Death and Taxes is pretty great. Against Doomsday, it's pretty fantastic. Against some of the fringe decks like humans, it's obviously really good. Against goblins, it's very good. I am going to put in the Flickerwisp here just to speed things up. Put this on the stack, but always no. That's nice. I'm going to attack first in case they use a removal spell on one of these creatures instead of on the mum. Mum's also nice because that means we can keep up Swords to Plowshares. Put it down to 1 card. Wasteland not that great here, and just 1 card left in hand, so that's pretty interesting. I'm not going to attack for 3, even though it's a 3-turn clock, because currently Thalia is my only pressure. So I am just going to play sort of Protect the Queen here and hopefully draw out a win. So Spear's going to be fine. Luckily with 1 card in hand, they can't really do anything. Ooh, that's nice. Let's attack first. Because even if they spend a card here, we do have the swords to hit it with. Yeah. Stoneforge doesn't get the ETB, but we do have the Batterskull, which is nice. And they know about it, so this is going to be pretty tough for my opponent to come back from. Dreadhoard's more than fine. I am going to play around Daze here. I'm just going to untap. Recruit is interesting. But I like swords more. Wow, just a 6 from my opponent, so. Recruit is a 1/1 with no abilities? That is correct. That is correct, yeah. Torprobe. It's always interesting when cards like this on the field, like even a Pithing Needle on Wasteland, when I'm playing Maverick, I'll draw Wasteland and be like, yes! But sadly, it just never turns out that way. I think here I just want to go wide to see if I can get through 4 damage through either the Batterskull or the creatures, and thankfully we get there, so that's pretty nice. Because here at least, if they block the Batterskull, there's still 2, 3, 4 damage, and we hold up Mum, so nice to finish 3-2. But those losses definitely hurt. So we got up against Blue-Red Delver, Yorion Death and Taxes, and Jund Hogaak, and we're down to Dredge and Cloudpost. I'll open a chest. I'll open a chest for you guys. We got a chest there, so that's pretty nice. Chests. Just the one. Enter? How come I can't see it? Shouldn't you be able to like double tap on these and make it bigger? Okay, two blue and a black. Enter the God Eternals, deals 4 damage to target creature, and you gain life equal to the damage dealt this way. Target player mills 4 cards, amass 4. Interesting. Yeah, I thought the middle mouse makes it bigger. Let me quickly check on another chest. No, it doesn't. I thought it's also hold down both left and right click, but that doesn't work either, which is pretty tough. Really strange. Hey Quiz, I don't do Modern at the moment, but I do play Modern in paper, so I have always thought about adding another night to make it 3 nights of streaming a week, and adding 1 as Modern, but I haven't got around to it yet. But overall, I thought the list was pretty good. I think the sideboard definitely needs work. Against Cloudpost there, we really didn't have anything in the board. Even another Skyclave would be pretty good. I thought that the package here for Graveyard was pretty nice. It's nice to mix it up as well, not just have like 4 Surgicals or 4 Rest in Peace. Hey SR Jab, thanks for the follow. Hope you're well. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what do you play in Legacy? But I think I'll definitely play this again. I do stream on Sunday, so I might run this back and hopefully get in 2 leagues. Do I ever play 7-Point Highlander? I do play 7-Point Highlander. I'm a huge fan of the format. You can check me out on Pleasant Kenobi's stream. I played some Highlander with him. I played a Jund deck, and yeah, I played Jund, 6-point Jund, and also Blue Moon, which is pretty fun. So those are 2 decks that I played before. Let me quickly find them. But yeah, 7-point is a fantastic format. A huge fan of it. Boom. And boom. There is some 7-point Highlander content. Sato, welcome. Hope you're well. Yeah, Skyclave was really good in this league. Playing Skyclave last night in paper against Maverick really made me appreciate how good this card is against decks like Maverick. Really nice. So yeah, Skyclave was sweet. I think there's probably room for more in the deck, maybe a 4th one in the board, but we'll see. The Gideons are obviously just a card that I enjoy playing with. Maybe Cataclysm is better. I do like Cataclysm because it is a pretty good card against Snow, taking out things like Teferi, Jace, or Oko. And also, if they go for basics early on, it can be pretty hard for them to try to rebuild with basics and kind of turns on your wastelands, which is kind of cool. But I thought the mana was okay. I was only playing 23 lands, and I was playing a 2nd Canopy, which is a little bit iffy. I probably like going up to maybe 12 planes and playing 24 lands, but I think it was okay. Yeah, I think that the D&T is in a pretty good spot. There's not so much Plague Engineer running around, which is nice, so you don't get hit by it too hard. And I think Spirits in the main deck are really sweet as well. Spirit off Vial, of course, is really nice in response to something like a Brainstorm. But yeah, I think it just gives it another little angle of attack. And the 3 power really adds up as well, which is really cool. So this is me. A huge thank you to everyone for coming in and joining. A huge thank you to the new subs and the resubs. I very much appreciate it. It goes towards everything on the stream. The Green Sun Zenith, of course. I do have some new content coming out, which is awesome. Which I'm going to start doing some matchup analysis, which is going to look a little bit like this. So I'm going to be going through the deck list of both decks. So say something like Maverick and Eldrazi, an intro into Eldrazi, what does it aim to achieve with its strategy, what are some important cards in their main and sideboard, historically how does the matchup go between the 2 decks, Maverick and X, what is the best way to attack their strategy, what are Maverick's best and worst cards for the matchup. And then for sideboarding, I don't want to be too specific because of course sideboards change pretty drastically, but I think there'll be a good idea of what to bring in and what to take out. Probably generalizing it like take out, taxing hate or bring in removal. But I will touch on some specifics like Path to Exile is obviously great. Maybe some cards like Gideon or a Planeswalker if you have them. What to expect from their sides, what to expect from Eldrazi's side or the other deck that you're playing against out of their board. And then just like some closing thoughts. So I think this will be pretty cool. It should be pretty awesome. I'll definitely try to get some people involved. So if I do Eldrazi, I'll try to get some Eldrazi players in to talk about their perspective on the matchup with Maverick, because I think that's really important as well, to not just do it from the perspective of Maverick, but also make sure I'm getting people who actually know the other decks to comment on what they think the matchup is like. So that should be pretty sweet. You can find me at YouTube here. You can find me on Twitter here. You can also find me at the Green Sun Zenith, where I run Legacy Maverick website. And the recent Maverick Monthly is out, which is cool. So it is a monthly piece that I do each month, which you can find here. And it really covers all of the Maverick archetypes over the month and which lists perform. So you have Green-White, which is traditional. You have Abzan Maverick, looking at things like Abrupt Decay. You have Punishing Maverick, which is coming back, but mainly with Cloths and Bolt instead of Punishing Fire. Bant Maverick's really good. You can find a league here that I did. And also Matt Vuk, Aussie Man 16, made top 16 of Legacy Challenge and also 5 Order League with a really cool version of it. So that's really cool to see. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm a fan of Maverick. So yeah, check it out. A huge thank you once again. I'm going to quickly see who is playing some Legacy and maybe we can raid them. If anyone has any idea of other people that are playing, I'll see who is. I see a lot of non-legacy streamers. I guess Flotrue is. Flotrue is a very well-known Eldrazi player, so that's actually pretty funny. But a huge thank you once again. My name is Dukes on Twitch. I'll be back on Sunday. I'll see you then. Enjoy your week, enjoy your weekend, and have a good one.